Hi, I'm Tamara Davison, Marketing Director, but more importantly, I'm Tom's wife, our farmer here at Davison Orchards. We have a very special year this year. This year, the Davison family is celebrating 90 years of farming here in Vernon. To begin our farming journey here at Davison Orchards, we're going to have Bob Davison talking about the first generation and their story on how it all began.
The first one to leave England was Tom Davison. He was from a family of 7 boys and 2 girls, and they'd been farming as a family in England for some time. And when the father died, there was just too many of them to live off the farm. So anyhow, they eventually, Tom Davison, who was the second son, came to Canada, courtesy of the CPR, like a good many of our backgrounds did. He worked in West Bank for a time, a few months, and was cleaning up estates for somebody that had passed on. And this person owned property in Vernon. I think he fell in love with the place and he never left. He grew some vegetables and became associated with the BC fruit shippers. Montague is co-signed the agreement of sale for this property here on the Bella Vista. It was 34 acres and about 20 acres planted to apples. Tom bought from what is known as the Land and Agriculture Company of Canada. It was a Belgian syndicate that owned the land from Butcher Boys, all the BX. This is in about 1907. The Bella Vista, right down above Kin Beach to the point of the lake, right out where it's all subdivision today. It's very interesting of the varieties that were planted at that time. The early apples, Dutches and Wealthies, were planted, and there was close to a third, I would say, of the planting was Dutches and Wealthies. There was quite a block of Macintosh. There was 13 rows, and where we're standing here was Delicious, not Red Delicious. They were simply called Delicious. Tom Davison farmed here, and my dad was located in Oyama, and in 1937, you could say disaster struck him, and he came down with throat cancer and passed on I turned 5 years old on the 20th, and he passed on the 30th. I had a younger sister, about 2 years old or less, about a year old at the time. Anyhow, Tom Davison, my mother moved back to Vernon, and Tom Davison took me kind of under his arm or under his hand and kind of gave me a little bit of fatherly direction in my early years. A couple of big things that happened in my lifetime here at the farm. The first was the winter of 1950. It changed the farm. And we had a terrible cold winter. We've never had one like it since. The orchard was decimated. But Tom had planted the bare land to Macintosh, and there was, I mentioned, there was these cooking apples, early apples, quite a number of them, and they survived the cold winter of 1950, and our Macintosh survived. And the Delicious were pretty well cleaned out. There was hardly anything after that that amounted to talking about. If it hadn't been for our strong relationship with the BC shippers after that winter, I don't know if we would have survived. Tom passed on in June of 50, just before that, or just after that cold winter. And relationship, as I say, with BC shippers now was between my aunt, his wife, And I'd go along, I'd chauffeur her down there to pretty well monthly get together with the manager at the BC Shippers, Mr. Sterling.